As we've gotten deeper into the Scarlet and Violet era, sets have been getting better and better, with the popularity of Surging Sparks and the increased demand for 151, the insane hype around Prismatic evolutions, and everything that 2025 has in store for us. It's no surprise that the Pokemon TCG is hotter than it's been in quite a while. With the shopping season in full effect and that sought-after product getting harder and harder to come by, we're starting to see some drastic increases in value behind some of these sets. So today, let's take a look at what's been going on in the booster box market and determine if these values will continue to rise. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As I just mentioned, today we're talking about booster boxes, specifically Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. Over the past few months, a few of these sets have started to see some pretty significant gains in value. As the last of the Sword and Shield block has sold out in Pokemon centers across the world, it looks like product has finally kind of dried up. And if product that's available at MSRP is dried up, the secondary market is really going to be able to determine where the value lies. And with Scarlet and Violet, some sets are just more popular than others, but as time has gone by, some of these newer sets are getting harder to get, and some of the newer collectors are just trying to get their hands on anything. It's caused some of these less desirable sets to start jumping in price. So speaking of that, let's start with the Scarlet and Violet era. A box I'd like to talk about is Paradox Rift. I think a lot of us have mentioned it was only a matter of time before this set started growing in value. It's been out just over a year now, coming out about the same time Surging Sparks did, but back in 2023. About the middle of October, this set started climbing up a little bit. I think it still has quite a ways to go, but it was going for give or take $100 pretty much the entire year. Right now, it's climbed up to its all-time high of $118. Still a good price for this box. It is a year old now. There's a lot of other sets out there. It might be harder to get your hands on this one. And I feel like going into 2025, it's going to continue to grow a little bit. A similar set to Paradox Rift, you have Temporal Forces. Again, this was pretty stagnant throughout the year, but over the last few months, it started to see some growth. It was as low as $103, but right now, is sitting at its high of $138. This set isn't quite as old as Paradox Rift. It's got some good hits in those Paradox Pokemon, the Ancient and Future Special Illustration Rares, Morty's Conviction, Ghastly Illustration Rare. There's some solid hits in there. I feel like it's not a set for everyone. You either love the Paradox Pokemon or you don't. But if there's people that like it, it's going to drive the value up. And I think with the value of Surging Sparks being so high, people are just looking for other sets that they personally like to rip open, and this is definitely one of them. Another more recent set is Stellar Crown. Not a lot of people were vibing with this set. I still think not a lot of people are vibing with this set as much as some other ones like Temporal Forces or definitely Surging Sparks. Heavily focused around Terrapagos and of course introducing the Stellar Terra type. This set has some solid cards, but no like standout chase other than the Terrapagos Special Illustration Rare. It sat as low as $102, but over the last month and a half, it's managed to climb up to $120. Pretty surprising for a set this new, but then again, you have sets like Twilight Masquerade. But with such an awesome chase card in that Greninja, that set has been desirable ever since release. I wouldn't expect Stellar Crown to grow that much. I just feel like right now, with the lack of Surging Sparks products out there, 151 being so expensive and people just like hungry to rip packs anticipating Prismatic evolutions, they're looking for whatever they can open, and this is an accessible product. Again, I don't really see it growing much more. It could maybe go to 125, but going into next year, I feel like it'll dip down and settle between $100 and $120 for quite a while. The last Scarlet and Violet set is going to be the base set. This one is starting to see some significant growth. It's been going up pretty steadily over the last 3 months. It was like $90 ever since release, but now has climbed all the way up to $113. Again, not incredible value here. I think it's still a good buy at this price. Pull rates are really good. This is a fun one to open up. It's great for, younger collectors, anyone getting into the hobby for the first time or getting back into the hobby. You're going to have a fun time opening this booster box. You're going to get some good hits, possibly 2 illustration rares or a hyper rare and an SIR per box. There aren't really filler with the ace specs if you're just here to collect. You might not care about the ace specs. So this is a pretty good product, and since it's been so cheap, it's great that people are starting to pick it up. I can see this one kind of steadily increasing, but I don't ever think it's going to hit values that like Twilight Masquerade or Surging Sparks are at. Actually, scratch SV Base being the last one we're talking about. We're going to talk about Surging Sparks while we're on that subject. This set grew incredibly fast. Will it sustain? I really doubt it. I don't really see a world where the Pokemon Company doesn't reprint this set in the next 6 to 12 months. It was pre-ordering at like $115, which is still like relatively high if you look at a lot of those other sets like Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, SV Base. They were all sitting like $105 or lower. This box hasn't gone under 115. One of my biggest regrets as of late was not pre-ordering a case of these at 100 per box. I was able to get cases at 600 a case, but I decided not to. I didn't want to go all in on this set knowing Prismatic Evolutions was around the corner, knowing what 2025 has in store. I did buy a few boxes, but if I knew it was going to go up like this, I don't think any of us really expected it to. We would have went hard on the pre-orders and grabbed a whole bunch of these. If you did, I'd consider selling these sooner than later. I don't think it's going to sustain $200 even over the next 2 to 3 months. I think by the time February comes around, this one's going to dip at least 15% from what it's at right now. But long term, I feel like it'll do good. That Pikachu special illustration rare is awesome. The Latios, the Hydreigon, Lysias. There's a bunch of good cards in this set that a lot of the other sets have been lacking from the Scarlet and Violet era. I do feel it'll dip, but I think long run, it's going to return and stay consistent with what it's at right now, kind of like Vivid Voltage did. So on that note, let's move into the Sword and Shield era. Vivid Voltage booster boxes had kind of been slacking. They've slowly grown throughout the year, but over the last 3 months have actually seen some decent growth. It's finally going up from like 140 to 150 bucks, which is great because my dumbass bought one of these at $120, pretty deep into the Sword and Shield hype. Around the time I'd say Chilling Reign was out. It did get reprinted. The set kind of tanked, but this was a heavy Pikachu set. Obviously, the Sword and Shield era got way better with this. But if you have any of these boxes, they're finally starting to see some growth. I don't know how much these are going to go up, but definitely with the Surging Sparks hype, I've seen some people interested in these. I vended an event. I had a few Vivid Voltage ETBs that I brought out, and some of the people that didn't really necessarily want to pay the money for Surging Sparks, but wanted to chase a Pikachu, were interested in this set. I managed to sell a few Vivid Voltage ETBs. I wasn't making top dollar by any means on them, but it was nice to move a couple. Another set that's seen growth is Sword and Shield Base. It's gone from about 300 to 330. Pretty solid growth. I wouldn't say this is a great set to open. I think it's more people looking for these for their sealed collection. It's the only Sword and Shield booster box I don't have in my sealed collection, and I don't think I'll ever pick it up. It's not worth it to me at this price. But if you have these for whatever reason, now might be a good time to sell it. It seems like it's at an all-time high. There isn't really anything that's a great chase in this set, so the longevity of the value I don't think is really there. I don't see it really growing anytime soon. I'd sell this off and buy something better to get those returns down the line. As Silver Tempest has sold out on Pokemon Centers, we're seeing growth. It's gone up from 154 to 173, so $20 over the last 3 months. Pretty solid gain. I think this one's going to keep going. It was the last of the Trainer Gallery sets to sell out, so it's been a little bit slow with the gains, but it's such a strong set. A lot of people were picking these up over Black Friday. I know Hobbiesville here in Canada had a deal on them. I think they were selling them at like 140 USD, which is pretty solid. With a lot of these sets, typically I would just pre-order them and just kind of wait for the price to go up. I wasn't really looking for deals on this, so I didn't pick up any more of them, but I think there's going to be steady growth. I think it's only a matter of a couple months before this hits $200. And speaking of $200, Brilliant Stars is just about there. It's been a little bit slower as well. It saw a really big price jump back in May, I think due to the Umbreon VMAX Trainer Gallery card like doubling in price out of nowhere. A lot of the alt arts did as well, and this set has that Charizard alternate art, which people are pretty keen on. So after hitting about $190 back in May, it dipped down to $180, but has since increased right back to $195. I feel like this one's going to keep going. I feel like everyone was sleeping on Brilliant Stars. I think it's a really, really good set. I don't see it slowing down. This one will outperform Silver Tempest in my opinion. Same with Astral Radiance. I think it's going to do great. I don't think it's going to beat Lost Origin because people just love that Giratina card, but there's a lot of good to offer in Brilliant Stars, and I don't think it's anywhere near the height that it's going to grow to. Another one with less significant growth, but Chilling Reign over the last 3 months from 205 to 230. Another really good set. A lot of alternate arts in this one. A fun one to crack open. I feel like now we're deep enough into the Scarlet and Violet era where Sword and Shield product is just going to get harder and harder to come by. I feel like a lot of the alternate arts are still better than the special illustration rares. I feel like that's going to cause some of these newer collectors to look at these alternate arts, make people want to chase them, in return cracking open boxes like Chilling Reign or Fusion Strike. You've also got a set like Lost Origin where people are still cracking into this. They still want that Giratina card, which is fair. It's a beautiful card. As low as 198 over the last 3 months, but is sitting just shy of 240 right now. Again, these products are just getting harder and harder to come by. We're like years out from when these released. A lot of people have been ripping into them, and the more of them that get ripped open, the higher the value is going to go. 240, it looks like it's slowed down, but I think this one's going to keep going over the next few months. I feel like this time next year it's going to be well over $300, maybe $350. Now it looks like the big winner over the last few months has been Fusion Strike. This was as low as about $210 a booster box, but is now sitting just shy of $280. It's managed to grow $70 in 3 months. This set is awesome. I really wish I bought a lot more of these when they were new. They were pretty cheap. I was able to find Fusion Strike and Chilling Reign booster boxes for as low as 75 USD. And boy, do I wish I just dumped all my money into these. At the time, I think there was some collector's fatigue going on with, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, Celebrations, Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, all crammed into like a 6-month period was just too much. Everyone was focused on Evolving Skies and then Brilliant Stars. People were focused on Lost Origin, and it caused these sets to stay pretty cheap for a little while. But man, those alternate arts are just causing people to go crazy. They really want these sets, and I mean, the Gengar and the Espeon are definitely driving factors in Fusion Strike going up in value. I still don't think anything will compare to Evolving Skies, but if any set is going to get close, it's going to be Fusion Strike and possibly Lost Origin. Speaking of Evolving Skies, this set still doesn't show too many signs of slowing down. Just when everyone thinks it can't get any more expensive, it gets more expensive, right? I remember talking about how I thought this set would hit $1,000 by the end of the year, and there was a lot of discussion about whether or not it's going to happen in the comments to those videos, probably back in around March of this year. And look at it now. It's sitting at about 940 a booster box. There are none for sale on TCG Player below $1,000. It's gone from about $680 to $940. That's over a $250 price jump in just 3 months. Even looking at the year on this, it seems to follow a pattern where it spikes up, chills, spikes up, chills, but it doesn't really drop too much. I'm going to make a whole separate video on this, but I feel like the hype of Prismatic Evolutions is going to drive the price of this booster box even more. I know everyone's excited for the special illustration rares of like Umbreon, Espeon, whatever. You got all the evolutions. They're going to be sick. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from them. They're going to be awesome. The only thing is they have the crown. I think a lot of people are going to get these cards and be like, well, the alternate arts are just better, and want to get Evolving Skies. Even at this show I just vendored, the first show, I'm going to make a separate video talking about that as well. One of the best products I was selling was Evolving Skies packs. People wanted to buy them, even at 25 Canadian a pack. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where people don't want to chase alternate art evolutions. And just having that one Infusion Strike is going to help so much with the Espeon. Not to mention the Gengar, but that Moonbreon is just going to keep on driving the price of this up. And like I said, Prismatic Evolutions is going to be an awesome set, but I strongly feel that the popularity of Prismatic Evolutions is going to push the popularity of Evolving Skies and the value even further. Will it hit $1,000 by the end of the year? I doubt it. It's about, 4 weeks out? We're December 2nd right now. It very well could. It's grown $250 in 3 months. It could grow another $60 in the next 3 weeks. I'd love to see it happen, but I don't think it's going to just yet, but it's only a matter of time. By February, I think it's going to be there. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for today's video. Just going over the booster box market, some of the big winners of the last 3 months. There are definitely other sets you could be picking up right now, and some of these, I don't know if I'd pick them up right now. Evolving Skies, I don't think there's going to be necessarily a better price. I think it's going to keep going. If you can get a good deal on this at like 900 USD or something, I think you would still make money in the long run. It looks like Fusion Strike doesn't show any signs of slowing down. That one's going to keep on going up. I still think Brilliant Stars is a little bit slept on. The evolutions in the trainer gallery, the Arceus, the Charizards, like, It's an amazing set, and I feel like long term it's going to be doing a lot better than what it's at right now. I think there's still money to be made there. You've also got Paradox Rift still below 120. I think it's a pretty strong one. And Surging Sparks, I would stay far away from. I think that one's going to drop not back down to like $120, but I think it's going to drop at least $25 to $50, in about 6 months to a year, I'd say about halfway through 2025. I just don't see this sustaining $200. It's only been around for a month now. It seems people are still buying it, but time will tell. I think be patient with this one. If you don't have it yet, just relax. If they reprint it, it's gonna drop. If they don't reprint it, I just wouldn't worry about it. Focus on something different, like maybe Team Rocket or some of these other sets coming in the new year. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'm getting out of here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace!